here at ACO Radio, American Communications Online, or any affiliated stations or websites are not responsible for what guest hosts or call-ins may say. All programming is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only.
Okay, this is Ascension Cosmos Oracles today. We are up-leveling in the Juneteenth area of the calendar, and we're very excited to talk about the world and cyberspace culture, our citizens community online on the Internet highway, where we meet weekly simply to support each other in fellowship and to share with those who may already be in our Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, wherever you may find each other in cyberspace and social media. Now, I have a dog, and this is live. I have a little Shih Tzu, as most of you know, Coco Chanel, and I'll do my best to, but people are out in the front yard with my next-door neighbors and talking, and it's asking her to pay attention. Now, every week, it's nice to have at least one group, a foundation of self-improvement and well-being, and we're here for emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual well-being. And we have psychic awakening classes with the Ascension Ancient Mystery Schools that was started, which I was fortunately, I guess, on my spiritual journey, was taken to Hawaii and was be a leader in a spiritual group. And I accepted rather reluctantly because I choose usually to be a number 2 or 3 and not a number 1. But I realized in a group that was a nonprofit that we always don't get what we want. So I have people that have asked me to join them as Starpeople, ET 5DXperiencers, and to form this group. And it's been a long time coming, from Hawaii till Juneteenth, 2021, and we've had a lot of things happen in fellowship association groups to share, and we're going to up-level our life forms, which some are taken to another place in space, and it's always been that way by those who watch over us, those of us that realize that the divine creation is something of an oxymoron, or a monad fiasco, or philosophy that is overlooked in ancient cultures and ancient origins unless it was recorded in history. Now we're working to pass along to our children cultures through the ages and epochs of time that which we've learned from, be it memories encoded in our DNA or in our cyberspace critical mass mind. So if you'd like to join me today, all that's required is a knowing that we are of support of the Ascension Cosmos Oracles and the Starpeople and extraterrestrials and the 5DXperiencers. They're saying that Mother Earth is already expanded and exchanged vow with the universal divine creator, our divine energy, our divine of infinity, if you believe in the law of one that's channeled and we use in the Ascension age. But we also use the Ascended Masters. Jesus, Yeshua, or our caller of many names with God, was the one that is historically known among those that study origins of those that walk the planet as a human recorded soul that also expounded history, including Solomon, if you believe he existed, Moses, Abraham, and the Abrahamic faith of Jews, Muslims, and Christians. And the Catholic fall under the Christians of St. Peter, and upon the rock of Peter did thou build a church at that time when people walked the earth. So there are many world religions that came before those three main that we hear of, Christians, Muslims, and Jews. And there are Buddhist and Hindi and Zen and many, many others. And the oldest, which we ascribe to, were out of all the old countries. And I'm in America, and in America we have many American ancient extraterrestrials that have come to this earth. And some of you that follow Ancient Aliens on History Channel may know of the Dwarpa disc, are those, they were like small beings, no taller than 3'10". Some people called them dwarfs, which they don't like to be called that any longer, but they are just little people around the earth. And the group in China with the Dwarpa stones or disc is on Ancient Aliens recently. And we also have the tall whites, and in our military, they were here to protect the earth from anything to do with nuclear in the water, oceans. We're more of a water planet here, where we exist on this planet for the source of all creations. And in the beginning, in infinity, we had the abyss of infinity that became aware long before the earth, wind, fire, water. But we're told that we came from the origin of creation was at first what we call awareness of divine being, our divine creation or divine infinity or divine monad, with awareness. And so thus far we started sharing all that is the source of all creations, and how those sounds and symbols became history we passed down to our children. Oh, those people are so loud outside. I hope it's not coming across. My neighborhood is very happy that we're studying and accepted Juneteenth, and we have many colors, and the LGBTQ and the black are people of color here where I live in West Breeze, believe it or not. And our community will be celebrating, especially this Saturday, which is tomorrow, with barbecue, as we did always in Galveston, Texas, when I was raised in Houston. We would go and study and go to the parades and visit places in Galveston, and my mother was very big on us knowing that. Although we were from Anglo-European, Anglo-Saxon origin, and in our DNA and historical colors of the rainbow, but we were taught, red, yellow, black, and white, they are precious in His sight. But this is also about the browning of America, and we have many cultures here, but being that I'm speaking the business language of American English, today we need to express that the Supreme Court of our country the United States of America, where we have started this Ascension Cosmos Oracles, plural, corporation for nonprofit, to study and research all sources of all creations, but mainly was so we would be a 501c3 for community, conscious, church, education, and on the internet and cyberspace culture, citizens, community. We've been working on this since before we had the internet, and I'm fortunately guided as a extraterrestrial involvement, our divine cosmos oracle, and I have had exposure as death and dying in this reality, in and out of body experiences, as well as death and dying and life after life. So all that does is give me credo to move forward and do what the divine purpose is in my reality, because each person is a divine prophet if they so choose to be recognized and identified that way, because we all are connected to divine providence, our divine guidance. And that is what the extraterrestrials that I'm involved with are here to instruct me to teach and have asked me to come forward. And many times in my lifetime I've seen these beings, mostly when I'm out of body or taken up, as many people call a contactee experience. And in the past, we didn't really have any type of legal protection corporation or nonprofit that really related to this up-leveling in the seventh dimension with regards to up-leveling as Ascension Cosmos Oracles, our Starpeople, our really we say mystics, oracles, psychics, sages, seers, and shaman or shaman around the world. And these were the spiritual advisors and leaders to those that ran the empires of the planet based on basically their cultures of off-planet, or where possibly their ancestors touched down, or even some crashed and couldn't get back, such as those in China with the Dwarpa stones. Let me see if I can tell you how to spell that. I haven't looked it up in a long time. Dwarpa disc. I may be saying it wrong. Automated grammar checker. No, that's not what I want. But culturally, we have different ways to say certain words, and we're also celebrating that with the freedom of work, word, and language. And now that we're advertising globally that we have been approved for the national holiday, we're going to study all those around the world and all those that have come before and how their cultures affect our culture here in America, which was at one time considered the melting pot. But we have Chinese Americans, and we have Spanish Americans, Anglo-Saxon or Anglo-European Americans, and we have Korean Americans, and I said Chinese, Japanese Americans, and many different Americans with their ancestry or their DNA, which we're all looking at globally now, and looking to the cosmos and the stars, because at one time our ancestors all celebrated their relation to how they were put here on the planet, and they recognized the cosmos, the stars, the suns, the galaxies, the universes, and how we have moved away from that is based on the fact that many people in history didn't want to recognize the mysterious or the ancient origins of the Dropa, D-R-O-P-A, disc of China. And they're said based on this beings that were left around them as the Dropa beings, or the small beings, the Dropa people of China. But why were they there with all these discs that were buried and kept? And they are carved stone discs, and they had emergence of a story that claimed in 1938 an archaeologist